I'll keep it asterisk asterisk, original asterisk asterisk, emotionally powerful, inspirational, and suitable for YouTube narration, without pretending it is an actual speech by Muniba Mazari. Hash this one hab, it will change everything. There comes a moment in life when you realize that the life you are living is not necessarily the life you have to continue living. Maybe you wake up every morning feeling tired before the day has even begun. Maybe you have dreams that you keep postponing. Maybe you know exactly what you want to become, but somehow you keep finding yourself stuck in the same place. You tell yourself, I will start tomorrow. Tomorrow comes and you say it again, I will start tomorrow. But what if tomorrow is not the answer? What if the transformation you are waiting for does not require a completely new life, a perfect opportunity, or extraordinary talent? What if it begins with something much smaller, one habit, one simple decision repeated every single day? That habit is asterisk asterisk, keeping promises to yourself asterisk asterisk. Think about that for a moment. We make promises to other people all the time. We promise our friends that we will call them. We promise our family that we will be there. We promise our colleagues that we will finish something. And when we make a promise to someone else, we usually feel responsible for keeping it. But how often do we make a promise to ourselves and then break it? We say we will wake up early, we don't. We say we will exercise, we don't. We say we will study, we don't. We say we will stop wasting hours on our phones, we don't. We say we will finally work on our dream. And once again, we don't. Every time we break a promise to ourselves, something happens inside us. We begin to trust ourselves a little less. And when you stop trusting yourself, confidence begins to disappear. You may still smile, you may still talk to people. You may still appear strong, but somewhere deep inside there is a voice saying, you don't keep your word. And that voice can become one of the biggest obstacles between you and the life you want. This is why keeping promises to yourself can change everything. Because real confidence does not come from telling yourself that you are amazing. Real confidence comes from evidence. It comes from seeing yourself take action. It comes from waking up when you said you would. It comes from finishing what you started. It comes from choosing discipline when nobody is watching. It comes from doing the difficult thing even when your emotions are telling you to quit. You don't build confidence by thinking about becoming a better person. You build confidence by proving to yourself, one action at a time, that you can become one. And this is where transformation begins. Not with a giant decision, not with a dramatic announcement, not with waiting for motivation. It begins with one small promise, and then another and another. Imagine deciding that every morning before you touch your phone, you will spend 10 minutes working on something that matters to your future. 10 minutes, that's all. Maybe you read, maybe you write, maybe you learn English, maybe you exercise, maybe you meditate, maybe you work on your business, maybe you plan your day. The activity itself is not the most important part. The promise is, you are telling yourself, I said I would do this, and I am going to do it. At first, 10 minutes may seem insignificant. But something powerful is happening. You are rebuilding trust with yourself. Day 1, you keep the promise. Day 2, you keep it. Day 3, you keep it. After a week, something changes. You start seeing yourself differently. You begin thinking, maybe I really can do this. That thought is powerful, because once you believe that you can depend on yourself, your entire relationship with life begins to change. You stop waiting for someone to rescue you. You stop waiting for the perfect circumstances. You stop needing constant encouragement from other people. You begin becoming your own source of strength. And that is one of the greatest forms of freedom a human being can experience. You don't need to become perfect. You simply need to become consistent, because perfection is a trap. Many people don't begin because they believe they have to do everything perfectly. They think If I can't do an hour, there is no point doing 10 minutes. If I can't completely change my life, why start? If I can't become successful quickly, why try? But life doesn't work that way. A tree does not become enormous in one day. A building is not constructed in one afternoon. A book is not written in one sentence. A strong body is not created after one workout. And a strong life is not created after one good decision. Everything meaningful is built gradually, brick by brick, step by step, day by day. Your job is not to change your entire life today. Your job is to make today's decision slightly better than yesterday's. That's enough. Sometimes the smallest habit can create the biggest transformation. Consider the habit of waking up and asking yourself one question. What is one thing I can do today that my future self will thank me for? Not 10 things. Not 50 things, one thing. Maybe you need to make an important phone call. Make it. Maybe you need to study for 30 minutes. Study. Maybe you need to apologize to someone. Apologize. Maybe you need to stop checking social media for an hour. Put the phone away. Maybe you need to start the project you've been afraid of. Take the first step. The question changes your focus. Instead of asking, what do I feel like doing? You ask, what will help the person I am becoming? That is maturity. Because feelings change constantly. One morning you feel motivated. Another morning you don't. One day you feel confident. Another day you doubt yourself. One day you feel powerful. Another day you feel exhausted. If your actions depend completely on your feelings, your progress will always be inconsistent. You cannot build a meaningful life based only on motivation. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. And discipline does not mean being harsh with yourself. Discipline means caring enough about your future to make decisions that serve it. Think about the person you want to become. Maybe you want to become healthier. Maybe you want financial independence. Maybe you want to become educated. Maybe you want to speak English confidently. Maybe you want to build a successful YouTube channel. Maybe you want to become emotionally stronger. Maybe you want to help your family. Maybe you simply want peace. Whatever your dream is, ask yourself, what habit would the future version of me practice every day? Then start practicing it now. Don't wait until you become that person. Act like that person today. If you want to become a writer, write today. If you want to become a speaker, practice speaking today. If you want to become healthy, make one healthy choice today. If you want to become disciplined, keep one promise today. Your future identity is created by your present actions. You don't suddenly become successful one day. You become successful through hundreds of ordinary days when you chose not to quit. And this is something people often misunderstand about success. They look at someone's final result and assume the result happened suddenly. They see the successful business. They see the confident speaker. They see the successful athlete. They see the finished book. They see the beautiful transformation, but they don't see the mornings when that person wanted to quit. They don't see the failures. They don't see the lonely nights. They don't see the small decisions. They don't see the boring repetition. Success is often built in moments that nobody applauds. It is built when nobody is watching. It is built when there is no camera. No audience, no praise, no reward, just you and the promise you made to yourself. That is where character is created. And character is more important than motivation, because motivation asks, do I feel like doing this? Character asks, did I say I would do it? There will be days when you are tired. Do the smaller version. There will be days when you are discouraged. Take one step. There will be days when you fail. Begin again. There will be days when you don't believe in yourself. Keep going anyway. You don't need to feel powerful to act powerfully. Sometimes courage means moving forward while you are afraid. Sometimes strength means continuing while you are uncertain. Sometimes progress means simply refusing to return to the person you used to be, and remember this, a bad day does not mean you have a bad life. A mistake does not mean you are a failure. Missing one day does not mean you have destroyed your progress. The danger is not falling off the path. The danger is deciding that because you fell, you should never get back up. Give yourself permission to restart. If you miss your habit for one day, return tomorrow. If you fail for a week, begin again. If you waste a year, start today. Your past does not have the authority to control your future. You are allowed to begin again. In fact, beginning again may become one of the most important habits of your life, because life will not always cooperate with your plans. People will disappoint you, opportunities will disappear, plans will fail, you will make mistakes. Sometimes you will lose something you thought you could never live without. Sometimes you will work hard and still not get the result you wanted. That's life. You cannot control every event. But you can control your response, and one of the most powerful responses is, I will continue, not because everything is easy, but because your future is worth the effort. There is another important part of this habit. Stop making promises that are too big. Many people create unrealistic plans. They say, from tomorrow I will wake up at 5 a.m., exercise for 2 hours, read 50 pages, study for 6 hours, stop using social media, eat perfectly, start a business, and completely transform my life. Then they try it for 2 days. On the third day they collapse. Why? Because they built a plan around excitement instead of reality. Start smaller. Make promises you can keep. If you want to read, start with 5 pages. If you want to exercise, start with 10 minutes. If you want to write, start with 1 paragraph. If you want to learn a language, learn 5 words. If you want to meditate, start with 5 minutes. Small promises are powerful because they create consistency. And consistency creates identity. Identity creates confidence. Confidence creates courage. Courage creates action. Action creates results. Results create a new life. It all begins with something small. This is why you should never underestimate tiny progress. 1 page doesn't feel like a book. 1 workout doesn't feel like fitness. $1 doesn't feel like wealth. 1 video doesn't feel like a successful channel. 1 lesson doesn't feel like education. But repeated over time, these small actions become something much bigger. Your life is the accumulation of your repeated choices. What you repeatedly do becomes who you repeatedly become. So be careful with your habits, because your habits are quietly writing your future. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are voting for the person you want to become. Every time you choose learning over complaining, you are voting for growth. Every time you choose courage over fear, you are voting for freedom. Every time you choose to keep your promise, you are voting for self-respect. And self-respect changes the way you walk through the world. When you respect yourself, you stop begging people to validate you. You stop comparing your journey to everyone else's. You stop needing every person to understand you. You become comfortable knowing that your progress is yours. Comparison is one of the biggest thieves of peace. You look at someone else's chapter 20 and compare it to your chapter 5. You see their success but not their struggle. You see their results but not their process. You see their confidence but not the years they spent developing it. Don't compare your beginning with somebody else's middle. Your journey is different. Your timing is different. Your circumstances are different. Your responsibility is not to become someone else. Your responsibility is to become the strongest version of yourself. And that version is not created by chasing perfection. It is created by keeping small promises. Imagine what would happen if, for the next year, you kept one meaningful promise to yourself every day. 365 days, you would not be the same person. Your confidence would change, your skills would change. Your habits would change, your thinking would change, your relationships might change, your opportunities might change. Most importantly, your relationship with yourself would change. You would know, I can trust myself. That sentence is priceless. Because when you trust yourself, you become willing to take bigger risks. You apply for the opportunity. You start the business, you publish the video, you learn the skill, you speak in front of people, you leave the environment that is holding you back. You try again after failure. You stop asking for permission to live your life. Self-trust creates courage. And courage creates possibilities. So start today. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for January. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you feel ready. Ready is not a feeling that magically arrives. Sometimes you become ready by starting. Take one small promise, write it down, make it specific, make it realistic, then keep it. For example, I will read 5 pages before sleeping. I will practice English for 15 minutes every day. I will walk for 10 minutes after dinner. I will spend 30 minutes building my dream. I will write 1 page every morning. I will not touch my phone for the first 30 minutes after waking. Choose one, only one, then repeat it. When it becomes natural, add another. This is how you change your life without overwhelming yourself. You don't need to become a completely different person overnight. You need to become slightly better today, then slightly better tomorrow, and then again. There will be people who don't understand your transformation. Let them. There will be people who laugh when you start. Let them. There will be people who remind you of your past. Let them. You know your journey. You know how far you've come. You know the battles you fought silently. You know the moments when you almost gave up, and you know why you decided to continue. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You need to stop being one of the people who doesn't believe in you. That is the beginning. Believe in yourself enough to take the first step. Believe in yourself enough to keep one promise. Believe in yourself enough to try again. Believe in yourself enough to understand that your current circumstances are not your final destination. You may be struggling today. That does not mean you will struggle forever. You may be behind today. That does not mean you will always be behind. You may be afraid today. That does not mean fear gets to choose your future. You may have failed. That does not mean your story is over. Your story is still being written, and you are holding the pen. So write a better next chapter. Start with one habit, keep one promise, take one step, then another. And another. One day you will look back and realize that the life you wanted did not change because of one giant miracle. It changed because you finally became consistent with the small things. You finally stopped waiting. You finally stopped negotiating with your potential. You finally decided that your dreams deserved action. And perhaps the most beautiful part is this. You don't have to know exactly how everything will work out. You only need to know what the next step is. Take that step, then look for the next one. Life does not always give you the entire staircase. Sometimes it gives you only the next step. Take it, and if you fall, get back up. If you become tired, rest, but don't surrender. If you lose your way, pause and find your direction. If you make a mistake, learn. If you fail, begin again. And if nobody believes in your dream, become the first person who does. Your life can change, not someday. Not when everything becomes perfect. It can begin changing today with one promise, one habit, one decision. One small act of courage. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what is one promise I can make to myself tomorrow? then make it small enough that you cannot easily excuse yourself from it. And tomorrow, keep it, because every time you keep a promise to yourself, you are sending a message. I matter. My future matters. My dreams matter. My life matters. And when you begin living from that belief, everything starts to change. Your confidence changes. Your discipline changes. Your choices change. Your standards change. Your relationships change. Your goals change. Your future changes. Not because life suddenly became easier, but because you became stronger. Remember, you don't need a new life. You need new habits. You don't need more motivation. You need more consistency. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You need to believe enough in yourself to begin. And you don't need to change everything today. Change one thing. Then protect that change, repeat it, build it, let it become part of who you are. Because sometimes one small habit is not small at all. Sometimes it is the first brick in the foundation of an entirely new life. So start imperfectly. Start slowly, start afraid, start with 5 minutes, start with 1 page, start with 1 decision, but start. And whatever you do, don't stop simply because the beginning feels insignificant. The beginning is supposed to feel small. Every mountain begins with 1 step. Every journey begins with 1 decision. Every transformation begins with 1 moment when you finally say, enough waiting, I am going to begin. That moment can be today. Your future self is watching, and the person you become tomorrow is being shaped by what you choose to do today. Keep your promise, take your step, build your habit, change your life, and never forget.